So this is the second video in my playlist on the introduction to matrices. So in this video I want to talk about some of the okay, so you know what, moves right down. So we have the identity matrix. So if you multiply that by any vector u, you just get the same vector back. You get u right back. We also have the zero matrix. If you multiply that by a vector u, you get 0. Okay, so something else, so 0 as a zero vector back. If you multiply the identity, if you multiply any matrix A, so what we're looking at is so here we're looking at some basic matrices, and here we're looking at some general results about matrices. So A matrix, if you apply it to 0, it gives you 0 back. The reason why is because 0 is the same as 0 times a 0 vector. In fact, 0 times any vector, but 0 times 0 vector. By linearity, this is equal to 0 times A times 0 vector. And 0 times any vector gives you just a 0 vector. And so we have, perhaps it wasn't really necessary to actually go ahead and prove it, but A times 0 vector gives you the 0 vector. You should also one way we can write out matrices is in terms of its columns. So we say a matrix A times EI, where EI is the vector of zeros, except at the ith row there's a 1 and zeros the rest. This gives us AI, the ith column of A. Okay, so let's just and so we can actually, it turns out, okay, so basically any vector can be written out in terms of these EIs. So x, for example, we can write as, so if x was x1 all the way up to xn, then we can also write that as the sum x1 e1 all the way up to xn en. And so we can, it turns out that just by knowing all these AIs, we can basically work out, just by linearity, any matrix vector product. So AX is equal to A1 x1 8 plus A2 x2 all the way up to an xn, or in summation notation we can just write AI xi like that, with the sum as the sigma summation symbol. And so it turns out if A just depends on AI's, we can write both x and A in component form. So this would be 1, A2, all the way up to AN. And we see that matrix multiplication works along and then down. And so that's basically what I wanted to say in this video. Just introduce some basic matrices. One property of a matrix that's pretty important, and also how matrix multiplication works. That's it. So I hope that made sense, and see you in the next video.